Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get to this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How do I record an episode? Where do I find my background music? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find the advertisers? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. So, if you want to start a podcast, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Happening now! Henry Cavill, who is famous for Superman at the DCEU, as The Witcher, and now I got my thoughts on the trailer. It does not look half as bad as I thought. Rick and Morty Season 4 got a clip of it. And we also have a couple breaking news to talk about regard to the Arrowverse crossover and Superman. I'm Megabits46 and you're watching Geek News. Breaking news! Brandon Routh who's also infamous for Superman Returns, with now clear up charges of groping a young boy, Kevin Spacey, and with the actress playing Lois Lane, will be making a return as Superman for the Arrowverse. A lot of people are not going to be happy to hear this, but everybody, give Brandon Routh a chance. Because he was also in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World as one of Ramona's ex-boyfriends. 7 evil exes, because you know he's the vegan. But however, we are gonna of course get Brandon Routh to see him in the Arrowverse. And speaking of Superman, Henry Cavill, former Superman, of course, has a trailer for his The Witcher, which is actually based on a book, not on the video game series. The video game series is based on the books. And just like that, of course. And in the trailer I watched, it don't look as bad as I thought. And that's me being honest. And I'm also here to cover day 2. So we're gonna go with the other news regarding Comic-Con. And now it's time for some clip reaction. And for the clip reaction, I'm ready to be talking about those. We are at the Adult Swim panel first let's get serious with Primal, created by Dexter's Lab and Samurai Jack's Getty Tarakovsky, who has this new series coming to Adult Swim, Primal, which is, of course, takes place in the past. And that's this, look like the same caveman from the Dexter's Lab episode, Old Flame. Like, I'm not kidding, just check out Old Flame. Well, it's different, but if you do have it on demand, Old Flame, check it out. That looks like the same caveman, but the loincloth color looks different. Yeah, the loincloth color looks different. But yet, so's the style. With blood and gore. Including the clip with the T-Rex and her babies. And of course, the other carnivores. And the caveman just injured a leg while the one trying to eat her babies was killed by the mama T-Rex. Then with the roar, it cuts to Primal. Primal will be coming this fall on Adult Swim. With all the seriousness out of the way, now let's go get to some funny business with Rick and Morty. There's a new character who is on the phone with the app, and Morty's just sitting there pouting while his dad was talking to the new character named Gluty, who just sits here on his phone. It costs Morty to bend over and then just tell him how does the app work. Just one is, well, then tell him, he's just forcing Gluty to show how the apps work for Morty. And then as he's trying to make a escape, thought he was going to explode. But they caught up to him, and Morty just put him on a stranglehold. And then his dad just say it was actually a beeping app. And then you can't be angry about it, but Morty just told his dad he can and he has to. And that's the end of the clip. I'm looking forward to season 4 coming in November. Well, now life in Duckburg is really like a hurricane, as coming this season will be the most dramatic course of all DuckTales. As Donald Duck has been held hostage by the Thanos look-alike, with DuckTales face off against the Moon People and the villains. Villains that likes of Glomgold, Magica, the Beagle Boys, and Dingo Diego. Or Diego Dingo from Tailspin. And although we are going to get the new characters, well, not exactly new characters, well, okay, yeah. There's Tailspin characters, Baloo, his wife, and their children. I forgot their names, but I know Baloo from the Jungle Book. And even though we're getting Darkwing Duck, a Launchpad reuniting with him, and we're also going to get Gosselin with good old DW. But although we are going to be facing off against the Boo People, and we're having new villains, and this is kind of reminds me of Infinity War, later Endgame. That's what my thought is, that we are going to be having Endgame. Now that is my thoughts on this season trailer, that we are gonna have an Avengers style of DuckTales. So make sure to check that one out. But although if I do have the internet, I will do the animation news. But yet DuckTales will return in September. Yep, everyone. And I'm gonna conclude the news with everyone's mixed bags of horror. Of the horror show. A horror serial show, which is known as The Walking Dead. First, we see the Walker at the ocean. And then we heard some commentary which is though a bit unnecessary, with everyone's former threat and now adversary, Negan, doing a commentary. And yet the whisperers are everywhere. Of course, the whisperers are everywhere. And as we see, Norman Reedus says Daryl Dixon talking to Negan, and yes, those two in real life are actually have a strong bromance, but in this, those two do not get along on The Walking Dead. But off the cameras and behind the scenes, they're actually good friends. Yet we see Carol walking. And after all, she goes to the pike of his son's head on there. But though we do not see the separate head of Carol's son, but we did see the medallion, because that is too gruesome for the viewers. And then we see Father Gabriel, who is blind in one eye. And of course, Negan would fight, however, but he will not do it because he just has his garden. He has his garden, and he would pick the garden. Pick strawberries, tomatoes, anything. But Father Gabriel just told Negan he's got an army. But the other one is done. Okay, we get to the fight scene, and we saw Michonne and Ezekiel kiss. But although it's going to be a war between the survivors and the Whisperers, and although we are going to see how it ends, but with the release date, it's coming October 6th on AMC. I can tell you, that is a really interesting view. And that's it for Geek News, everyone, for day 2 of Comic-Con. I'm Megabits46, and I will see you guys on the next news as I cover day 3.